Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor and welcome to another episode of WoCrendor where I answer the questions you submit to me on twitter.com/WoCrendor or facebook.com/Crendor whenever I'm like, hey, I'm doing WoCrendor, ask me questions. So follow me in those places, you might get your question answered. Yeah. Okay. First question comes from Max Barton and he says, so a survey said that World of Warcraft has only 6.8 million active users currently. What do you think was the reason for many people leaving? They had around 10 million in 2010, and I was curious as to why there was such a decrease in subs since 2010. Well, this happens every quarter. It's not actually a survey, it's actually a quarterly earnings report that all companies have to make, really. So Blizzard Activision has to report this, and they said since the previous quarter, they are down to 6.8 million subscribers. Previously, it was at 7.6 million, which means 800,000 people have canceled their subscription in that time. So if we look back all the way to Vanilla WoW, when WoW first came out in November of 2004, I started playing in January 2005. So that's 750,000 people were playing the game at that time. That's how small it was. And then in May of 2005, it had 2 million, 3.25 in June of 2005. By the end of Vanilla WoW, it had 8 million players, and then into Cataclysm, it jumped to 8.5 million. At the end of Burning Crusade, herp derp. At the end of Burning Crusade, it jumped to 11.5 million into Wrath of the Lich King. At the end of Wrath of the Lich King, 12 million, and that's the peak of the mountain for the World of Warcraft subscription mountain of subs. And in Cataclysm, started to decline, 11.4, 11.1, 10.3, 10.2, 9.1. That's a big drop. And in Mist of Pandaria, jumped back up to 10 million, and it finishes Mist of Pandaria at 6.8 million. So what's that I gotta say? I found, on the WoW Reddit, there's this person, top comment, they said, their name's FFAOR Landu. I don't know how to say that. They said, I really hope they've learned from the long gaps with content, or without content. And he takes a look, ICC to Ruby Sanctum was 196 days. 3.35 patch Ruby Sanctum to Cataclysm was 168 days. Dragon Soul to Mist of Pandaria was 301 days, and Siege of Orgrimmar to Warlords of Draenor is now up to, it says 378 plus days. Now, I went and I looked up when the Siege of Orgrimmar actually came out, and it came out, Siege of Orgrimmar, hold on, don't, high quality right here. Siege of Orgrimmar release date was September 11th? Does that sound right? It was September 10th. That's what it was. It came out September 10th, and that's almost a year. That's almost a full year since World of Warcraft has been updated with a patch. That's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty bad. So, people are wondering, why is everybody leaving? Well, your question was about since 2010. The reason it's gone down so much since 2010 is just because a lot of people tired of the game. It's been around a long time. Their friends stop playing, they stop caring, they get, they're busier. People just get tired of the game. But, going from 12 million down to, what's 10 million? That's still not bad. Like, there's games with 500,000 players still that are extremely successful. Games like, I think EVE Online only has like 500,000 to 700,000 players, and it's still going strong. So, I mean, to be like, oh my god, WoW's down to 6.8 million, like, it's not dead, it's not dying. I mean, everything's dying, but it's not, the end of the world or anything. The main thing is they need to release content more frequently. And I know they have things like scenarios and pet battles, and everyone's like, you haven't experienced all of the expansion until you do things like pet battles. It's like, well, I don't really care enough to do that. The problem isn't that, you know, like, you have to play the game and then you won't quit. It's like, the whole point of MMOs are you choose what you want to do. So a lot of people enjoy raiding. Turns out there hasn't been a raid in a year. So what are people going to do? They're going to quit. If you like pet battles, you're one of the 6.8 million still playing. There you go. You know. But that's really the problem. They need, even if it's like my one video said, Farmer John's No Turnip Adventure. They need, you know, mini raids. They need something. Just some people have said they need more heroic instances. I don't know. I don't know if I'd come back to the game just to, you know, do that. I think they need those types of mini raids in between big patches to just kind of, I don't know, they need to do something. I'm not the game developer here. They're a game developer. They need to do something that fixes all this. Either way, over a year for a patch for content is pretty bad. It's pretty bad, guys. I know you're working on the expansion, but come on. Come on. So that's that. I mean, people can rant about it. They'd be like, you can just type it in on the internet and you'll see all the threads about it. Honestly, it's just a combination of it's an aging game and there hasn't been content for it. That's that. Are you gonna go on to WoW where you've done everything already, or are you gonna go play like League of Legends or Hearthstone where it's a new game every time? So maybe they need something where it's fresh, like you keep playing it, kind of like PvP. I guess a lot of people playing are PvPers because it's new every time. They need stuff like that. I'll talk about the tar and mill stuff in a minute, by the way. Next question. Demon Ziad says, hey Crendor, how is the WoD beta so far in your opinion? Improvements, failures? So far, I think it's really fun. I like all the zones except for Frostfire Ridge. You can go watch all my zone exploration videos. I pretty much say whatever I say in those videos about what I think of the zone. I think the character models are good. I think the content of the expansion, just the whole environment and the whole, what's the word I'm looking for here? The atmosphere of the expansion, just everything behind this expansion, I think it's a lot more Warcrafty than the last expansion or two. So I think that's going to bring a lot of people back. I think it has that more of that Warcraft feel. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be good. And as for failures, I don't really want my garrison in Frostfire Ridge. I'm not going to lie. The fact that I can't move it does make me very upset. I wish I could put it in Nagrin. I think they should have put it in Nagrin anyway. It's such a better zone, or even Gorgrond. You know, like one of those places. I don't like, even if it's only like a couple options. I don't want it in Frostfire Ridge. I don't like Frostfire Ridge. Ugh. I know, first world problems. But I mean, aside from that, I think a lot of people are like, oh, they're cutting down on the abilities. I'm glad. There's way too many abilities. I would rather have a few abilities than a lot of abilities. Like, oh, well, now I can't proc my shield armor bash with my axe and do 8 damage on top of my 500 damage. It's like, get over it. That's my advice. Get over it. You know? Cut down on the abilities. Who cares? There's way too many. Either way, yeah. I mean, not much to say. There hasn't. If you just go watch my beta videos, I mean, I cover most of the stuff in that. I didn't mean to use that question just as a promotion, but it ended up that way. Yeah. Next question is from Sal Tyron. He says, Crendor, how did you come up with non-content? I had to think about that for a little bit. How did I come up with non-content? I actually came up with it because I thought it was a theory. And I talked about it on the TGS podcast back when it was called that instead of the co-optional podcast. And I said, you know, what if there was a thing called non-content? Because the hub channel for the game station was putting up all these things and nobody cared about it. They'd like put a bunch of production quality into it, and I was like, nobody cares about that. They care about Jesse Cox eating cereal or Total Biscuit flying a kite. And I was like, it's like non-content. And I said, you just need high quality non-content, and that's where it started. And I was like, you know what? That's my theory. It doesn't matter what's happening or the production value. All that matters is the people and the personalities behind it. And it's proving to be quite true. I think it's proven to be quite true, and I think it's going to keep growing. And everybody's starting to learn that now. TB's adapted it. Jesse's adapted a bit. Dodger is fully adapting the non-content methods. It's spreading. It's spreading, and it started here. Even other YouTubers I didn't even know about, they're doing non-content too. It's because people want to see the people they like doing stuff. And that's my theory. You know, you don't want to see a big high-quality production with people you don't know, don't care about, unless it's like an amazing show like Game of Thrones. But I mean, you'll just watch TV for that. We're not TV. We're YouTube. We're live streaming. We're all these things. And so, you want to see Jesse Cox, you know, dance in front of his Kinect. You know, you want to see Total Biscuit go fishing for dogs, which is a video available on my channel. There's all these things. You want to see his refrigerator. So that's where non-content was born, and shall continue to continue on. Keep on keeping on. Next up, Trinity Kentrop says, what do you think of PewDiePie? A lot of people, I don't know if I've answered this before, a lot of people hate him just because of he's really popular, or they say he's stupid, or he's annoying, whatever that. But from what I've played with him, I got to play Smite with him for the brand deal, and he was a really cool dude. You know, he wasn't like, how's good, everybody? He was just like, hey, how's it going? You know, he was just really chill. He was down to earth. He was normal. And I was like, oh. You know, he didn't think highly of himself. He didn't act like, oh, I'm bigger than everybody here. He's just really cool. Because there's a lot of people, when you start getting into the millions, where they get very full of themselves, like, oh, I'm really big now. I don't have to deal with you people, the couple 100,000 YouTube followers. It's like, you know, those people are douchey, but like, he was really cool. And so I don't have any problems with him. I would hang out with him. I would go have a coffee at IKEA with him. He's from Sweden. So you know what? Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of people just hate to hate. You know? That's another thing. The term hater. Listen, if somebody... I think it's so overused, because people just call everyone haters now. A hater isn't someone that's like, I didn't enjoy this video. That's not a hater. That's someone that just didn't like your video. A hater is someone that's like, this is the dumbest and shittiest video I've ever seen, unsub. That's a hater, because they're being overly hateful. They're not just having criticism like, oh, I didn't enjoy this video compared to your old ones because of this reason. That's not a hater. That's just someone voicing their opinion in a constructively criticism-esque way. It's dumb. It's dumb. I'll have a rant on that some other time. Alright, let's move on. Someone asked me that question, I'll answer it in the next WoWcrendor thing. I guess I already kind of answered it. Whatever. Next up, we got Hugo Troito. And he says, or she, I don't know, whoever says, any updates on the Cox and Crendor Patreon? It should be any day now. Whenever Jesse Cox decides to edit a podcast we recorded that promotes the Patreon that is currently live, except the podcast isn't live, that tells you it's live because it's not edited, and he's in England. Any day now. As I said before, send all your angry messages to Jesse Cox on Twitter. He'll read them then. Alright, and the final question comes from Jared Cotition. It's an interesting name. They say, what do you think about WoW's 10th anniversary events? The max level Molten Core, Corehound Mount, Tara Mill vs. South Shore, etc. Cat, what are you doing? He's attacking the fake tree. Says, you know, maybe you don't know. Blizzard has announced for the 10th anniversary of WoW in November, They're going to be, quote, cooking up a few in-game plans to commemorate the occasion. Here's a quick preview of what they have in store. They have Tar Mill vs. South Shore rematch, in which they say, if you engaged in PvP early on in WoW, you might have fond memories of, and perhaps a few scars from the endless tug of wars between Horde and Alliance players at Tar and Mill and South Shore. To recapture that feeling, we'll be opening a team deathmatch style battleground based on that timeless struggle. However, unlike the old days of Tar Mill vs. South Shore, there will clearly be a defined victor, so you'll need to work as a team or face crushing defeat. So I'll just start with that. I called this. I called this like 2 years ago. I was like, you know what they need? They need a battleground that's like South Shore versus Tar and Mill. It's just people fight each other. I called it. They probably stole it. I don't care, because I'm happy about it. So listen, I take credit for the Darkmoon Fair and the Tar and Mill Battleground. That's 2 points for me. Either way, I think it's awesome. I remember the days of the days of old when that happened. It was before Warsong Gulch was even a battleground, because it was before battlegrounds even happened. I just remember being there and just getting killed and running around and trying to kill people, even though I was really low level. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So I think it's nice that they're doing something like this. This is the type of things they need. They need content between their content. So if they're testing out a new battleground, like a team deathmatch battleground where people just fight, I think that's a cool idea. I think that'd be a nice battleground that isn't just objective based. I think it'd be nice to have a team deathmatch battleground. If they're testing out the ability to add mini content patches like this into the game, I think that is also a very good idea, because as we just went over, they lack content, which, I mean, that's not my problem. I have non-content, but that's a big problem for them, a big content person. And so I just like this idea. So next, Molten Core gets boosted. Molten Core provided many WoW players with their first taste of WoW raiding. For the anniversary celebration, max level players will be able to participate in a special 40-player Raid Finder version to relive the experience of hunting down Ragnaros, his minions, within his fiery lair. Downing the Fire Lord will earn you the achievement and a special Corehound mount reward. So you get the Corehound mount, and you get to do a special 40-man version of Molten Core. Again, I think it's awesome. I think they're adding content to the game that isn't major content, and reliving some old stuff. You know, it's fun. They're adding things that are fun to do, and just things to do that are bringing people back. I think it's smart, and they should have done this a long time ago, not just for the 10th anniversary. And then Corgilicious. Anyone who logs in will be able to claim a feisty, fiery new pet, the Molten Corgi. These will only be available for a limited time. Blah, blah, blah. Even though it's only be available for a limited time, I guarantee you, I'd bet money on it that this is one of those things where they're like, hey, you know, this is available for a limited time, and they're testing it out to be like, let's see how this works, you know, let's see how people react to an old raid redone in like a mini form, or let's see how people react to being able to redo old events that weren't actually events, like battlegrounds that weren't battlegrounds, like Tar and Mill, South Shore. People just fought, and a team deathmatch style battleground. So I mean, they're testing all these things out as they're saying, like, hey, this is a 10-year anniversary event. But again, I'm fine with that. It's a lot better than what they've been doing for the past like year or two. So I'm hoping they're starting to realize that they really need to do things like this. Now I'm trying to think back. What else did I talk about? Just like the Tar Mill South Shore. Oh, Alterac Valley. They need to do that. Bring back an Alterac Valley, like old style battleground, you know? Like it doesn't even have to count. It doesn't even have to be like a rank thing. Just let people play it for fun. Like, we don't need achievements. You can give people achievements because they don't matter. You know, you don't need rewards. You don't need to give honor for it. Just let people play it. Like, this is it. Just let people play it. So I even thought about that. I remember like a while back, everyone's like, what if we just had servers for like one for Vanilla WoW, one for BC, one for that? And I was like, well, that's dumb. You know, you should just do it. But now that I'm like thinking about it and looking, I'm like, you know what? They should do that, because from a business standpoint, it's worth a try. It's worth having like a server for each expansion. And then maybe people will actually play it and then realize like, I'm bored with it now. Now I'll play the new stuff. It's just, it makes sense from a marketing perspective. And I mean, it's not much more money to do that. I mean, it's Blizzard, you know, it's... either way, I could keep going on a rant. I'm gonna stop now. Yeah. Thanks for your questions. If you want to ask more questions, facebook.com/Crendor, twitter.com/WoWcrendor. I also stream twitch.tv/Crendor. I stream every Monday, Friday, and then a few days thrown in here and there. So, if you didn't know that, now you do. I stream. Go check it out. Link in description. Okay? Okay. See you.